Hi, this is David, the Timeless Runner, coming to you once again with this yoga video called Yoga for Runners, Yoga for Seniors, Yoga for Beginners, hey, Yoga for You. It's yoga that I do every day. Every day I do target different areas of the body. Today I'm going to target the quads and the glutes, which are the big muscles that we run with. I have a friend of mine who gave me a running mantra once that said, keep your heart up, keep your head up, and run with the big muscles. So those big muscles are your quads and your glutes. So today I'm going to show you some basic stretches that you can do to keep the quads and the glutes stretched out. And particularly useful after a run, but you can do these at any time of the day or any place that you like. The first one we do is the figure 4 stretch. I have a chair here. Don't be afraid to use props, chairs. I'm not embarrassed to do so. I will rather use a chair than fall down. But the first thing you want to do is stand on one leg, kick the other one up, hold it with the opposite hand. When you do this, you're going to prevent doing any kind of knee damage from yanking on it in an unnatural angle. So there are several different things that you can do once you have that leg engaged. First is to lean forward as you pull it across your body. You'll feel the stretch on the quad. You'll also feel it on the hamstring of the leg that's standing on the ground. You can change the angle of it as you move it around. Again, engaging that quad muscle, stretching all of the 4 muscles in that group. Standing up, bending forward as you do that, and rotating it. Stretching out the glute as well as the quad when you do this. And I usually do about 10 hip circles after doing a static stretch with that. So what we do in yoga on one side, we do on the other. So I'm going to put the chair over here, and I'm going to grab my leg with the opposite arm. Again, do those hip circles. Lean forward and pull back on it. Change the angle as you do this. Again, we're working the 4 muscles in that quad. Again, I do this as a warm-up. You can do it anytime you like and where you like. But again, don't be afraid to use the chair or any other props that you find necessary. For the glutes, kind of warm up with hip circles. As you do the hip circles, just do them slow and easy. Again, we're just trying to engage all of the muscles, tendons, ligaments that control the stability of our hips. Stability of the hips is very, very important as you run, and particularly as you age, because injuries sustained in falls, broken hips in particular, generally have to do with a lack of joint mobility and a lack of flexibility. And then there's one other set of stretches that I do for the quads that require me to get down on the ground. I start off with a seated figure 4 stretch, where I am going to put the sole of one foot against the inner thigh of the other, and just kind of lean forward. This will start to stretch out the outside of your hip. I will cross the leg over and wrap my opposite arm around it, around the knee, pulling it across my body as I twist. Again, this will start to work the IT band that connects the upper leg to your hip. And from here, I'll go into a quad stretch by folding the leg behind me and leaning forward into the forward leg. So you should feel a stretch in here as well as in the back of that. And if you lean back, you can move the leg up and down to emphasize that quad stretch. This is a basic stretch that I think all runners have done at one point in their life, but it's very good for the quad to loosen that up. And again, typically what you do on one side in yoga, you do on the other. So I'm going to, again, start with a seated figure four. Leaning into it to stretch out the hamstring on the back of the forward leg. Pressing down on it to stretch out the IT band. Cross the leg over. Grab it with your opposite arm and twist. As you lean forward, you will feel the stretch in your IT band, which is the band that connects your knee down to your hip. Then go into a quad stretch. Lean forward to stretch out the hamstring on your forward leg. Lean back. And then gently move your knee up and down to stretch the four muscles in your quad. And these are all very targeted exercises that are targeting specific muscle groups. In this case, as I mentioned, we're going to look at the quad and the glute today because they work together when you run. The quads are in the front, they're counterbalanced by the big muscle in the back, which is your glute. Put your feet together, kind of push your knees away. This will stretch out the groin area, which is also part of that quad group. And then we'll go into some of the standing poses that you've probably seen time and time again. First one is called the high lunge. High lunge, you stand with your feet together. Take a big step back. And then you're going to drop your knee on the trailing leg down to a point where it is perpendicular to the floor. And just hold it. This is a static stretch, and boy, you'll feel it in your quad for sure, if you're doing it right. Again, we want to hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds. Remember to breathe as you do these. But this is one of the most effective stretches for your quad group. You can sink as low as you can. Try not to bounce. Try and have your body in a forward-facing line. And then we'll do that again on the other side. This is where balance helps. If you don't have much of that stuff, well, there are a group of poses to work on in balance. That's something I have to work on every day. But again, we're going to hold these for about 10 to 15 seconds. You will feel it in the front of your quad, without a doubt. Now there's a variation on that that is done on the floor, and it's called a low lunge. The low lunge, very similar to the high lunge, except instead of holding this knee down, we're going to put one knee on the floor. And what we're going to do on this one, raise our hands up our head, over our head, and lean back. And as you lean back, you're going to feel the stretch on the quad of the knee that is on the ground, or the leg that is on the ground. You can put your hands behind your back, push them away from you, and again, you will feel the stretch in the front of the quad. From here, I usually go into a what somebody said was the world's most effective stretch for everything. You lean forward as you move your knee back a little bit. Move your foot to the outside. And then you can raise your hand up. And you're going to feel the stretch on that quad. Behind, you'll also be stretching the quad in the front leg. This is a really good warm-up stretch for a lot of reasons. But then we'll do the low lunge on the other side. Again, we're going to start by leaning back. And you will feel the stretch in the quad area of the knee that's on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. Press them away to deepen that stretch. And then I just kick it out to this other stretch. Don't really know the name for this one, so let's just call it the other stretch. If you push against your knee with your elbow, you'll feel the groin stretch a bit. Again, reach up for the ceiling, and that'll start to stretch again the outside of your glute, your groin, and the quad of the leg that is kneeling. There's some other ones that we can do. This is called the tabletop position. The tabletop position is a basic yoga position. And from here you can do cat and cow if you wish. That's one of the most popular. But that's for spine flexibility, not for the quads. For the quads, we can do strengthening exercises, quads and glutes, by going into a pointer pose. One of the variations on this that I really like, when I can do it, grab the ankle with the opposite arm and pull that across. Again, we're stretching the quad here. And there is the variation to do some leg push-ups, pushing our heel up to the ceiling for the glute. And again, what we're going to do on one side, we're going to do on the other. We don't fall over. Again, this is going to work the quad and the glute. Try and grab that ankle. And hold on to that to stretch the quad. Again, you can do that. You'll push up. For me, that's pretty hard stretches to do or routine to do. But don't be afraid of hard. If you can't do it for a long time, do it for as long as you can do it. And by for all means, if it ever starts to hurt, then stop. Okay, we're going to do a couple more stretches. This is a glute stretch, where we're just going to lay on our back and pull our knees towards our chest. You are going to feel a stretch in the back of your glutes when you do this. You can open the legs to pull them back further. You can do happy baby, which is when you grab both of your feet, hold them up over your head like a little baby would. And this is going to be stretching the glutes as you do this. You will be able to go into a number of various other poses from that position. So there you have it. That's a series of targeted yoga poses for the quads and the glutes. There are more, but I promised you a shorter session today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like these videos, please click on subscribe. Click on like, I'd appreciate that. If you also have any comments,